You know when you said losing all those guys and then the player of the year, and then you paused for a while and just thought what to say next? Sometimes I just pause and try to think what to do next. I think no, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be interesting because we have so many young guys and so many inexperienced guys, and the problem is right now, we're up and down a little bit. Those guys are also talented, but some days they look like they're talented, and some guys they look like they're young, inexperienced guys. And just getting more consistency from day to day, I think, will be the biggest challenge for us, especially early. So we're, whatever it is, about 6 practices in right now. And we just have so much to learn from all those new guys. So need to really make sure that we teach well as a coaching staff. And we need to make sure that our guys understand the importance of all the little things that we teach early and all the fundamental base things within our system. Because having a bunch of young guys in any league that's really good is a challenge. And it's about the time they think they're starting to figure out one thing, then you start talking about, well, what if they guard it this way? Then what do we do? And then you have to teach them that. And then, well, they can also guard it this way, and then teach them that. And our league is really well coached. It's so much more in depth than the other leagues that I've coached in. Just how well teams adjust to what you do well. So it takes a lot of teaching, and we've got to be really good teachers this year as a coaching staff. I think will be the biggest thing, and help put our guys in positions to be successful, because we have some guys that can really make some plays. They just don't know always how to get to those plays and what reads to make and all those things yet. And it's up to us to teach them those things. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's probably going to be frustrating a little bit at times, like the first 5 or 6 practices has been. And I don't know that our guys know yet. They don't know that we're not ready to play a game. And that might be a good thing or a bad thing. We know that as coaches that we're not ready to play a game, but I think our guys are just excited to go play somebody else. It'll be great to go play somebody else and get some things on film, and then be able to teach a little bit more off that as well.
Coach, production aside, who needs to take over the leadership roles that Tyler and Luis would have last year?
Yeah, so that's the other big challenge is, we had some guys that were good at rebounding. We had some guys that were good at shooting. We had some guys that scored it well. We had some guys that executed well. We probably lost our best defender off last year's team, but we have a lot of guys that need to figure out how they fit in and what role they can fill. We still haven't figured that out yet by any means as a coach or as a coaching staff, who's best at what, and I think they're still figuring that out as well. But everybody will see the points and rebounds, or this percentage of rebounding, this percent of scoring is graduated, and then you see that all the time on teams, but you don't ever really see like 95% of your leadership has left the team, or whatever that stat is. It's harder to quantify. But we lost a lot of composure from our guys that left. We lost a lot of leadership. We lost a lot of work ethic. We lost a lot of intangibles as well with their graduating class. So those are roles that need to be stepped up and filled as well. And it's been a different guy a little bit in each way. So I don't know that I can sit here and say a guy that has to step up, but I'd say really all 16 guys in our program need to be a little bit better in all those areas, and that's a job of us too as coaches to make sure that we're teaching that how to lead better, how to bring more energy to practice. All that coach talk that people say all the time that doesn't make for a good quote. That stuff actually matters, and we're trying to teach our guys that a little bit as well right now.
Coach Grappi just told us he's going to make this huge perimeter offense change. I mean, with the guys that you have coming back, I mean, what kind of adjustments do you need to make this year?
Yeah, no, that's the X's and O's wise and defensive wise, you're always looking to adjust to fit your personnel. It's so early, like I said, 5 or 6 practices in, that we still don't know what we're best at. We're just going to touch on some zone today for the first time. And if we look great in that, I'm not so stubborn that I'm going to say we're not going to play more zone this year than last year, or we're not going to run this guy the ball in this spot. We had a lot of ball screen actions with Luis last year, and we had a lot of pick and pop and post up actions with Rudy. We're not just going to do the same stuff depending on what guys are good at. our guys that played a little bit last year, our young guys that played a little bit last year have shown some great signs of improvement. So Max Cody has really stepped forward. Dorian Alui has really stepped forward. Those two guys that were freshmen last year, Cody Dwyer. But they're not the same skill set as the guys that graduated, so we got to run a little bit different things. And honestly, we're still figuring that out as coaches. Right now, we're just trying to get them to play hard enough and understand our base stuff. And then once we get our base in, we'll start adding a little bit of tweaks here and there to get the right guy the ball in the right spot.
Do you feel like Akibo might have more challenges this year, given that he's not playing with Tyler anymore?
Yeah, I think everybody will have more challenges that Rudy's not out there, to be honest. He obviously got a lot of attention. He's probably the first guy that most people went over on their scouting report. So, we haven't had everybody even on the practice court together yet this year. Even though we've had 6 practices, we haven't had our whole team out there healthy at the same time. So we've got to get that accomplished first before we can figure out who fits well with each other. And that'll happen sooner or later, I think. I hope. But we still have some guys nicked up a little bit early. That's been a challenge for us as well. But I think you take Luis away. He really ran everything, so that'll put a lot of pressure on other guys to run the offense. I'll probably start with Max, but other guards as well, and then you take Tyler scoring and rebounding away, and that'll put pressure on other guys to step up. So yeah, it'll definitely be harder for those guys. And as we get going, we'll see how they can step into those roles and if they can step up to that challenge.
Is there going to be a greater responsibility for underclassmen as compared to years past?
Yeah, definitely. We'll have. I guess I'd have to look at our roster for sure. I believe that we have 3 seniors on this. Actually, we have 4 seniors on this year's class. But out of those 4 seniors, 3 of them have never really played for us. So David Akibo's the one that has. Last year we had 5 seniors that were all playing substantial minutes. So, and then our junior class, Trevor Rostein's the only guy really that's played a lot for us, and he hasn't had a season yet where he played every game due to some injuries. So we're going to have a lot of guys playing for the first time. Some of those guys might be seniors, some of them might be juniors, and a lot of them are going to be freshmen and sophomores. I think we're really talented. I think we may be more talented than we were last year, but talent and potential are the things that make coaches have gray hairs or get coaches fired. So we got to teach our guys how to execute and how to play hard and how to be great teammates and eventually how to win basketball games.
How about this week's games? What are you hoping to get out of Valley City?
Yeah, so we'll go in. It'll be interesting. We'll go in both games. We'll script out who's going to play. We'll play more guys than we normally would. And it's that question, we'll meet as coaches on Wednesday before we go play Valley. And, if we sit there and say that Max Cody probably deserves to play 35 minutes and somebody else deserves to play 5 at the point, we'll probably play Max, 15 or 20 and let the other guy play more and see what we've got. So some of those guys that have played a lot for us, they probably won't play as much as they deserve to. We'll probably give the other guys some chances as long as those other guys are playing hard and playing unselfishly, because we have some guys that need some game time, as we've talked a lot about the inexperience. So by Wednesday, we'll just script it out, and we'll say as long as you're playing hard and as long as you're playing unselfishly, you're going to go in at this time for this many minutes. And so that'll be a little bit different than how we do it in the season. And then we'll try to break that down the next day and then do the same thing again on Saturday when we go play Dickinson State down at Fort Bears and try a bunch of different combinations and see who fits well together and who doesn't. And we'll learn a ton from those 2 games, both as coaches and as players. And you gotta. Some guys are better when the lights are on and the popcorn's popping. So hopefully we have a few of those guys that step up and maybe a little bit better than I think they are right now once it becomes game time. But a lot of excitement just to practice today because we need them. We need those practices right now. We've got good players that need to be good in our system, and they need maybe we're good in junior college or high school. We need to turn them into good NSIC players. And the biggest thing I'll say is, man, our guys love each other and they compete super hard. They might do dumb stuff. I can deal with dumb stuff right now because they really are a close-knit group and they play super hard right now. So we got a chance to get a lot better if you're going to do those things.
As a coach, do you enjoy having a younger team and being able to do what you do?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's also going to drive me nuts at times. And it was really fun to have 5 seniors last year and and between Rudy and Luis, those guys really understand, and Brandon Green, those guys that had been with us for 4 years, they understood things inside and out. And we have some guys that don't understand as well, but man, they play just as hard as those other guys, and they want to win just as much as those other guys, and they want a chance to prove that they can do those things, maybe more than those other guys did. But just trying to stay focused on the challenge of teaching every day has been a lot of fun. I think for our coaching staff, we have to be more detailed. We have to be better teachers of the game, and really, that's why we started. I know for me, that's why I started doing it however many years ago. I wanted to teach guys how to be better players, and we really get to do that this year, and it's been a lot of fun for me. And it's going to continue to be a lot of fun, and a lot of opportunities to see growth. And that's one of my favorite things as a coach, is to see a guy go from point A to point B, and we got guys that have room to do that. And honestly, we have so much more room for growth in this team than we had in last year's team. Our floor's probably lower, but our ceiling's probably higher, and it's going to take a lot of work from all of us to get that done.
Coach Murken, so last year, you win 20 games and you win a conference tournament game for the first time, and a lot of success. So for the guys that were on the team last year, is that kind of like, it was almost like the bar was set, like this is the expectation level, this is what we want to do. Do you get that sense from them, and is that a positive thing, whether unrealistic or foolishly or whatever?
Yeah, for sure. You want high expectations. You want people to, within your program for sure, but people outside the program as well. You want them to expect you to win and be disappointed when you don't, and I want that as a coach, and our guys want that as well. And our guys expect to win. After last year, our guys now know it's going to be that they're all going to have to fill a new role and put in a lot of work to get there. But I think anytime you're in a program, you want to set your expectation level and your culture, and there's a lot of room for growth in there. But you want that culture to expect to win, and you want guys that demand greatness from each other on a day-to-day basis, whether that's in school or whether that's in classroom or whether that's in the community. You want guys to say, this is how we do things at Minot State, and this is how we do things in our basketball program. And man, our seniors did a great job of setting the tone for that in our program. But we've got some young guys who believe in all those same things, and they believe in a great effort any given day, and they believe in competing any given day with themselves or with in class or with an opponent, whatever it might be. And I respect the heck out of those guys for that. They want to be great all the time, and that's one thing we've said is, don't come to our program if you don't want to compete, and if you don't want to be better today than you were yesterday. So I'm fired up to see those guys keep getting better, and I know they love a challenge any given day. Today's practice, tomorrow will be practice, Wednesday will be practice, and then Thursday we'll get to play another team for the first time. So excited for all 3 of those days.